another YouTube video. You might notice that I am A, dressed lazy as fuck. B, I'm wearing a measuring tape. What could that mean? This is another sewing video, that's right. And you may notice, you may be concerned that there is fluorescent blue and fluorescent pink fabric behind me. And I will tell you about that in a moment. So unfortunately, someone that I know is going through chemo right now, which is very sad. And I thought I should make them a hat, because we looked at all these sort of like chemo hats online and they're ugly. They're like butt ugly and like they look like chemo hats. And I'm like, what is wrong with people? Like, why would you want to look? I mean, I'm sure they're not feeling well and all of that, but like, to me, you would feel a little bit better if you looked pretty, right? So I thought I should make a pretty hat for this person. And they've requested these fabrics, which is why I have them. So I'm going to do a tutorial on how to make a very cool slouchy hat. And I mean, even if you're not going through chemo, if you're just like a bald girl like me or whatever, you just want a hat, I mean, you could very easily adapt this to be black. So I'm going to go through the process with you, show you how to make a cool slouchy hat. You can do it in whatever color you want with whatever decoration you want. This is just what this particular person requested, but I thought this would be a good tutorial for people to A, learn how to make a hat for themselves or for loved ones, because it's winter and everyone needs extra hats these days. So here we go. Let me show you what we got. All right, you guys. So this is what we have here. So this is the fabrics that I have. They're sort of embossed blue and pink floral fabrics, but you just need something that's like vaguely like a little bit stretchy. This is a cotton jersey, so it's a little bit stretchy, so it'll fit on the head, but not like totally snug. I have my fabric scissors for cutting the fabric, and I have a pair of shit scissors for cutting paper and things that are not fabric, because obviously the first rule of sewing is you never, ever, 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 ever use fabric scissors on anything that's not fabric. I've got my grandmother's pin cushion here full of pins. I've got a pen for drawing our own pattern, because we're going to draft our own pattern here. And we've got a measuring tape. So let's get started. I'll show you the first thing. All right, welcome to this part. And this part is that you need to measure someone's head. And somebody has a bigger than average melon. So Jessica got volunteered to have her head measured for this.
Voluntold.
Yes, voluntold to have her head measured for this, because I figure you've got like about an average melon, probably. So, don't know. So anyways, so you're going to measure like around the head, basically like this, to get a correct head measurement. So we're just going to do like this. Okay, so her head measures 22 inches. So we're going to use that as an average head measurement to make our pattern, okay? Let's get started. Okay, so here we go. We're going to make our own pattern. So I've got my measuring tape here. So we're going to do 21, and I'm going to make 4 panels. Well, technically 2, but they're going to be cut in half. So we need 4. So if you do 21 breaks down into, so 5, 10, 15, 20. So it would be 5.25 would make 21. And then we need a little bit of seam allowance. So we're going to go 5.5 across the bottom here. So we'll go here to here. That's 5.5. So we'll go across that line. So you just divide your head measurement by 4 and then add a little for seam allowance. And then apparently a standard, I don't even know what that means. A standard slouchy beanie is about 11.5 this way, but I'm gonna add an 1.5 band on the bottom. So I'm just gonna go 10 all the way up. This is why graph paper is helpful. You can do this on regular paper, but graph paper is probably your friend to do this. Okay, so that's 10. So we'll go at about 7 here. So here, this is the line for like 7. I'm going to start a curve going that way, but we're going to go up on this side. Let's say about 5 inches, maybe 4.5. 4.5 inches. Okay, 4.5. So here, at my little dot that I drew, which is 7 inches up from the bottom, I'm going to curve this way a bit. It's not even a curve, that's just a straight line. I'm going to make a straight line like that. And then from here, I'm going to curve this in. Okay, so we now have this. So I'm going to label this because this is where the fold is going to go. So when we put this on our fabric, this is going to be the fold side. So we now have this pattern. I'm going to cut this out with not my fabric scissors. All right. So we now have this. So now let's get our fabric out. So you want to make sure this is actually, I believe, a 4-way stretch. It is, but it's obviously stretchier this way. So you want to make sure your stretch is going the appropriate way for what you're doing. So we're going to fold this over like this. Just wide enough for our hat. So you got to make sure this is on the fold right here. Just making a mark so I can see it through the paper right there. Okay. So we don't waste any fabric. Perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to pin this on. Here we go. Okay, pinned on. Now I'm going to cut out 4 of these. No, I'm going to cut out 2 of these, but it's going to fold out into 4 because of this, right? So I'm going to cut out 2 of these. Okay, so we now have 2 of these. See, they fold out like this. Isn't that beautiful? 1, 2. Alrighty, now I'm going to cut the band. So I said that I'm going to put a 1.5 inch band on this, but because it's going to be folded over, it's going to be doubled like this. You actually want to measure across here at 3 inches and then a seam allowance. So we're going to measure across here at 4 inches. I'm just going to mark that 4 inches like this. 4 inches, 4 inches. Until you get to 22, which is great. Okay, so we now have our band, which we will fold over like this. So that'll measure, because I cut 4, so that'll measure 2. There it is, 2. And then once you take seam allowance off it, it's going to measure 1.5, right? So, perfect. So we have that. Now, we're going to cut strips for the flower. She wants like a big flower on it. So we're going to cut strips, and then I'll show you how to do that in the serger. I'm just going to flip this piece of fabric so I get longer edges. There we go. So I want my little strips for my flower to be probably, I'm going to say like 3/4 of an inch wide. So because I'm doubling them, I'm going to cut them at 1.5. So we're going to cut some 1.5 inch strips all the way along this. Here we go. Okay, you guys, I think we got there. So I've got 2 strips of this to make the flower out of. I don't know if I'll need more or less. I'm just kind of making this up as I go along here. So we've got 2 strips at 1.5 inch wide, which I'm going to fold over like this and put through the serger to make little strips for the flower. I've got a 22 inch band here. This is for the hat, the brim of the hat, which I'm going to fold over like that and put through the serger. And I've got 2 of these, which actually fold out into 4. See, there's 2 because we cut them like this. And then they fold out like this, right? So that's, I think, everything we need, I think. Let's move to the sewing machine. All right, so I'm just going to run these strips through the serger right now. I'm running it through the white serger because I'm a lazy asshole and I have 2 sergers, one threaded in white, one threaded in black, and I figured white would be less obvious on the blue than the black would. So this one I'm just going to do normal. This one, because it's going to be for the flower, I'm going to stretch it as I go, so hopefully it'll wrinkle a little bit and look a little bit like petals of a flower. We'll see. Okay, here we go. All right, so we have these 2 things now that we're done all of our serging here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these splits, fold the material right side to right side, match up the points. So I'm going to sew up these 2 splits on each side, and then I'll show you the next thing. All right, you guys, that part's done. So we have this so far. That is all. So I'm just going to serge these real quick, And then we got to sew these two together. All right, so we now have these with serged edges. So I'm just going to open this up and sew one side together. Make sure that your center seams here line up with each other like that. You can pin it if you're not as comfortable as me doing this, but like I'm pretty confident that my shit matches up, so I don't have to do that. I'm going to stop there, which is just over halfway. I just did that. So far we have this, which is pretty great. So I'm just going to add the band on here before I finish sewing it together, so I don't have to add the band on afterward. That's going to make our life a lot easier. So you're just going to, again, right side to right side. Start here. Again, you can pin your band on if you're not confident that it's going to match up. And away we go. Okay. So now we have this with the band on it. Pretty cute, right? So all we have to do is sew together this all the way down, including the band. Again, make sure your seams match up. So you got to make sure that like that matches up with that and all that along the way. I'm just going to serge this again to get rid of this raw edge, and then we're going to do the whole thing. All right, so I just serged that all on together. So now we only have this one open side left. So I'm just going to match these up, sew that together, serge that, and then we can start decorating. Ta-da! It looks like a weird cone beanie. Woo, it looks like a weird cone beanie. But that's the whole point of a slouch beanie, isn't it? Okay, so that's pretty tight on my head, but this is for someone with a smaller head than me. So right now we have this, which looks really, really stupid, but we're about to make that look a lot better, I promise. All right, you guys, so right now we have this, which looks totally beautiful, doesn't it? So the idea is, because this is a slouch beanie, I mean, you can hang it off the back of your head or wear it like a fucking hipster, whatever you want. I'm not going to do that. So what I'm going to do is take basically everything up to including the center point right here and scrunch it all down. This is hard for me to do with my left hand because I'm filming with my right hand. I'm going to scrunch it all down and pin it like this, and then we're going to make a big flower to pin that together and look all cute and like scrunchy. So I'm going to take you back to the cutting table so I can cut out the flower with you. Let's go. All right, so welcome back to the cutting table. I guess I should have cut this out at the beginning, but I didn't think about it. So we have to decide how big of a flower we want. So I'm going to make a pretty big flower because I can. So just think about how big you want it, like on your head, right? So that would be 3 inches, but 3 inches round, 4 inches. Now the person that I'm making this for, again, has a smaller head than me. So I think I'm going to go in between and go like 3.5 inches. So basically what you want to do is cut a 3.5 inch square. So 3.5 inches, 3.5 inches, and then go this way, 3.5 inches, 3.5 inches. Okay, cut that out as a square. 3.5 inch square. Ta-da! Done. Not done. Gonna cut this into a circle. So if you fold it in half, this way, not like a dummy. Fold it in half again, like that. So you end up with a tiny square. There we go. And you just cut that circular. If it's not perfect, that's okay, because you're going to cover this with your flour. But you basically just want to round this off. So you get, see, that's definitely not a perfect circle, but that's okay, because we're going to cover that up. That's basically circular, and you know it's the same diameter across here and across here. And that's what we need. Now we're going back to the sewing machine. All right, so we have our non-perfect circle here, and we have a shitload of this stuff. So basically, all I'm going to do is take this, and you can do this either way. This is up to you. You can either sew it on this way, all the way around like a spiral, and leave the serging out if you want that to be visible, or you can do it this way and put the serging in and make a spiral and make a flower, and then I'm going to sew like a button or some shit on the center. I haven't decided yet to make it look pretty. So I'm going to sew it like this because the person that I'm sewing this for does not appreciate the rough edges the way I do. So yeah, here we go. Okay, so now we have this Pretty cute, right? I'm going to sew something there to cover that serging, maybe a blue button because that's ugly. And I have all this left, so I guess I cut more of that than I actually needed, but I mean, this is good to know for later. So I'm going to pick out a cute button, sew that on, and then we can finish the hat. How exciting.
Missy, do you have a button problem?
No. Why would you say that?
Because you have a giant tub of buttons.
That's a filthy lie. I don't even have nearly enough buttons. There's almost no buttons in here. Like, what are you talking about?
Do you not have a box of special buttons as well on top of this one?
No. Why would you say that?
God damn it, Missy.
All right, welcome back to the table. I have a styro head. You can also do this on your own head, but for the purposes of filming, I thought it would be easier to do on this guy. So we've got our sort of finished weird cone head beanie thing. Got the flower that I made, and I found this cute glittery button to sew in the middle of it. Pins, thread, scissors. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is sew this button onto this. All right, we now have this with the button sewn in. Isn't it pretty? Isn't it sparkly? So we're now going to fit our beanie onto our fake head, which is smaller than a real person's head, but that's okay. So basically, I'm going to take everything from the center point here and scrunch it all forward in layers. And pin it down. This is where your pins come in. So we're basically just going to pin it down. We want it off center. So if that's the side, I'm going to put this seam at the side. And I'm going to scrunch the flower to be off center. You can do it to either side. Doesn't matter, whatever you want. So we're going to pull this down. Oh, God. All right. Never mind. I'm going to pin this bitch in place. Then we're going to start scrunching. All right. So now we have this, which looks really kind of stupid. But once I put this onto it, see, that'll hold all that scrunching down and it'll be invisible. And see how cute that looks? So now I'm just going to stitch these on my machine. You can do it by hand if you want to, but I'm just going to stitch that on my machine and then probably that. And then we get to sew the flower on by hand. And we're done. Let's go. All right, see how cute? It looks weird on here because this head is smaller than a regular head, but like now we're just gonna sew this flower on like this by hand, and we're done. Go! All right, you guys, check it out. It's done. It turned out pretty cute, right? I mean, this is definitely not my color and my style, but it turned out really, really cute. I absolutely love this. I think this is going to look beautiful on her. So now I actually think this is so cute that I think I'm going to make one for myself, more in my style. Here we go. Seriously, you guys, didn't this turn out super cute? Look at skull on the side, all the like velvet ruching. How cute. This is really cute. It makes me feel like a vintage diva. I'm very excited about it. I feel like I need to be drinking wine while I have this on. In fact, I am drinking wine while I have this on. Won't you join me for a glass? Oh, hello. I didn't even see you there. Oh, and my ankles are showing. How scandalous of me. I must fix that. I must learn to be a more proper lady in an outfit such as this. Don't you think my hat turned out cute? Look at a little skull on the side, black velvet. I feel just like a luxurious 20s woman who's waiting to be filmed for some epic upcoming starlet role. So, you know, this is amazing. Like this, I'm gonna wear this all the goddamn time if I don't want to do something with my hair, or I haven't shaved my head recently, or I just want to feel like cute and vintage and keep my head a little bit warm. I'm gonna wear this all the time. And I definitely recommend that you guys make yourself one, whatever color scheme you're into, or if you have friends that are going through like chemo treatments. This is obviously a lot cuter than wearing like a handkerchief on your head. And you know, everyone deserves to be stylish, especially when you're not really feeling well. So I think this is gonna be amazing for the person that I know that's going through chemo right now. So I hope you liked this video. If you could give it a thumbs up, that would be amazing, or a wine glass up, whichever you prefer. If you want to follow me on social media, I have all the things. I have Instagram, Madame_Absinthe, where I'll probably post pictures of this outfit at some point soon. I have Twitter, Madame_Absinthe, for pictures of my makeup and also like sewing projects in progress. I have Facebook now, Madame Absinthe. It's the one with a picture of my face, obviously, because it's Facebook. I have Depop. If you want to buy some of my secondhand gear, you can check it out on Depop. Kofi, if you want to buy me a Kofi, is kofi.com/MadameAbsinthe. You can support the maintenance of my sewing machines and my weird ass fabric art so I can make stuff like this. That would be great. If you want to subscribe to my channel, that would be great. Ring the bell for notifications when you subscribe so you can get notifications when we put up more videos, maybe sewing tutorials, maybe vlogs if we're ever allowed to go out and do anything again. You know, you don't know unless you ring the bell, do you? And I think that's it. Like, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, follow me on all the things, buy me a Kofi if you want to, have a glass of wine with me, make yourself a fabulous hat, and hopefully I will see you all around for my next luxurious sewing tutorial. But in the meantime, I'm just going to sit here and finish this glass of wine. Cheers, everyone.